Obviously, I was born in the times in which there was a lot of strife, but I don't remember too much growing up. I didn't grow up as a wealthy white female, if I can call it that. So for me, everyone looks the same, everyone is the same. And I think we definitely have grown. And if I look at the sports side of things, we started with absolutely no money in the sport, in the swimming world. And slowly but surely a little bit more money is coming into the sport. Our athletes are getting more opportunities to travel, to compete internationally, and not having sort of the apartheid behind them and not being able to compete internationally because of the said country and what was happening within the country. So definitely growing from strength to strength. Former President Nelson Mandela always said sport is the power to change the world. And South Africans as a nation, we look up to our sports people, we look up to them for inspiration, for the ability to grow and to be better. So from that perspective, I think definitely positives. Getting involved in more sports within the Olympics, our hockey team, our netball team, everyone's now getting an opportunity. Yes, it might be tough, and yes, there's a lot going around that, but definitely positives.
What do you think are some of the challenges for women in sport? Maybe when you just started coming up, what were some of those that you faced?
I think the biggest challenge, and it would probably come more as you start being successful. As a woman, how do you have a family? How do you study? How do you train 8 hours a day in my case? Something has to give. Whereas with men, it's different. You can still have a family, they can still travel, and still bring in a bit of money. So that would have probably been the biggest challenge. And with that, I had to drop a lot of my personal life and say that I would pick it up later on when I've completed swimming. And obviously, I kept my swimming career to the least possible, in order for me to still have a life after that.
So the series that we're running is called Superwoman in Sport. What do you think makes you a superwoman?
I don't know if you could call it a superwoman, but I think I've lived my life in a way that I believe that there's no race, there's no color, there's no gender. It's what you want to achieve, and it's to work hard to achieve that. And sometimes we come across gender issues, but it's to look past that and to say, at the end of the day, this is the end result, and I want to achieve that end result. And I work in a mostly a 90% feminine company, and it's been great because we think slightly differently. I think it's more about nurturing rather than just leading. And bring a few things different from slightly different angles. So taking it from sport and in an industry where all I had to do was qualify with a specific time, to working in a company with women has been it's an eye-opener, but also something that's made me grow as a person as well.
Natalie, do you miss being in the pool competitively?
I must say, I think I was fortunate to, as a young child or as a young girl, have set a goal that I would stop swimming at the age of 28, and we did everything possible to achieve that. I've achieved everything possible. I've trained as many hours as I possibly could that my body could handle. I have given back as much as I could within the sport, and I came full circle. So I miss not physically doing the activity, but I miss the fact that the activity allowed me to handle certain situations. So if I was having a bad day, I would train exceptionally hard and take it out in the water, which I don't have that. So it's trying to find different ways of coping with life, if I could say that. But I've achieved everything. So it was important for me to strive for another goal or strive for another dream, because I had achieved everything possible in the swimming pool. And for me to grow as a woman, as a person, I needed to move out of that.
Athletes often find it difficult to make that transition from sporting life, competitive life, to maybe what we can call the real world or the corporate world. How difficult was that transition for you, and to make the transition successful?
Transitioning is very challenging. With myself, it's been very challenging in a way that people only see the strength of swimming. How do you show someone that you possibly have a different strength or a different skill that you could be involved in, when people only see you as this famous person who used to swim? And as an athlete as well, you don't really know what you could be good at or what you would like to go into. So that's also a challenge. How at the age of 30 do you now find what you could be good at? I guess, like, I would have a dream and a goal of being successful one day. It's to keep going until I find that success. It's to keep striving. It's, yes, one thing might fail, but you move on to the next, and you move on to the next, and you move on to the next. And, this is the start of my journey of a business person, a businesswoman. It's something that I didn't ever think I would be in line to be doing, reputation management, or, and I do the social media aspect of it. So, it's a challenge. It's always growing, it's always changing, but it's to rise up to that challenge and to accept it and to go with that. As I said, I was fortunate to have achieved everything, so I don't miss it. I don't wish I could go back. I don't, there's none of that. So for me, it's personally just to move on and grow.
There were quite a few great female swimmers while you were still swimming. After you retired, we saw quite a bit of a decline. Why do you think that was?
You see in waves, every country they'll go through a little bit of a dip, they'll come out of it again. I think fortunately, systems like America, and a lot of ours, if I can say our swimmers would go to America because it allows them to train, allows them to study, and also, I guess, have a family at the same time, because it's a lot easier than in our economy or in South African terms. Yes, we might be able to get a scholarship at university, but universities don't actually allow us to take off time. There isn't that allowance, which American universities do have. So, that is even more challenging for a female than it would be for a male. And yes, we might have missed out on a little bit of a group of women coming through. There are those that are just on the cusp of qualifying, but they're just not quite there. Yes, they're very young, but I think, the depth, it will come if we just keep working at it. If we keep, keeping South Africa and sport in high regard, if a little bit more money comes into the sport, it's always a challenging question, but if women are given more of an opportunity to be able to complete everything. A lot of guys will stop swimming when they hit puberty, whereas women will stop swimming a little later, which is on that cusp of international level. So we just got to stay behind them and give them opportunities at the end of the day, and hopefully they will grow.
Prinsloo was tipped to be also one of the big swimmers in South Africa. What do you think about her as a competitive swimmer?
She's been performing, Karen's been performing at her best and at the top level for a while, and in the beginning she just was on that cusp, just missing out. She's been plagued with quite a lot of injuries, which is unfortunate, because an injury sets you back in swimming a lot, and the reason why is because swimming is in a body of water, and if you're not in it constantly, you don't have that feel, and if you don't feel good and you don't have the mileage behind you, you wouldn't do as well as another type of sport. So she's a great person. I've traveled quite a bit with her, and she's still young. She can still grow and go on to be bigger and better. Hopefully also bring the youngsters along with her, inspire them, train with them, and with training with a group of youngsters, generally you inspire as well. So that's someone to look out for, and who the youngsters can try and beat, and that's what sport is about.
Another young swimmer that's coming up is Erin Gallagher. She did fantastically at the short course World Champs. What do you think about her?
Yeah, in the pool as well as open water. Yeah. She took part in quite a bit of open water, and Erin, I haven't toured with her. However, she is growing. And again, they're so young. They've got so much mileage still to put in the swimming pool. So much to experience, especially in open water. You've got to experience international competition. You have to feel it. You have to go through every motion. And that's what we need as women, is to be able to travel. And of course that takes money, that takes time, it takes everything. So it's how much you want it, how much you have that goal, how much you have that dream.
And just lastly, what is your vision for women in sport?
I think women in sport can grow so much. I would like to see it, I wouldn't say on par with men. I would say, just to keep growing and to keep being the best that they can be. We have our sports, we have our soccer team, we have our hockey team, and they're doing exceptionally well. So to see them grow, to see them onto the international stage and growing from strength to strength, not stagnating and not going backwards. And I guess that's all that I would have ever hoped for my career. That's all that I would ever hope for women in general.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.